Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my podcast, Her Tips for Life. I hope that you have enjoyed the first episode where I talked about how to start your 2022. Today, I'm going to talk about three different aspects of failures that make it possible to see the golden opportunities beyond failures in life. First, let me introduce myself for our first time audience so that we create a long lasting connection. I am Dr.Pooja, academically a chemical engineer and a scientist turned wellness engineer who realized that working on solar energy alone wasn't enough to fill this life with the light. Now, founder of Pooja Swata, where I help today's youth in keeping their life sorted and a happy place by learning to nurture their best. Today, I'm going to express my ways of looking at failures. I will elaborate precisely three aspects of looking at failures and only one mindset which is of utmost importance in handling them. I am sure that by the end of this session, I'll be able to bring some value to all of you. So, as I look back today, I see huge failures in my life. But if I join the dots, each and every failure has helped me develop huge and bulky muscles to stay strong. That has been helping me throughout till today. So I will directly jump to the points that I feel we don't see generally. Here goes the first one, that each and every failure should be honored. Let me put it this way. As we all keep saying that success is shabby. So if success is shabby, failure should be smart and honorable, right? But we honor our success, not the failures. We fail to understand the path to success through failures. In fact, most of the people will do anything within their power to avoid failures, even if this means never attempting anything new. Let me give some more clarity with an example. And since I am a fitness enthusiast and I feel that mental fitness has a root that is connected with you being physically fit, I will give example related to that. I hope everyone must have done crunches or push-ups at some time, at some point. We feel a lot of muscular pain and fatigue, but we choose to bear with it. We keep working on it because we know that if we continue for a couple of days, we would be able to get the toned abs, right? So if I can see my toned abs beyond my pain, why can't I see success beyond my failures? Because this is how human mind works. Now, I want you all to just think of any one incident of your past failures when you found it difficult to take. And now, try to recall that emotion, that feeling which developed. You can take your time. Now, most of the times, what we feel back of the mind that this didn't happen right, and start analyzing our actions. We start giving justifications. And if we are not able to justify, we start blaming ourselves or others. We start building stories around this one feeling after we fail. Now, let me give you a tip to handle such situation. As soon as we see a failure, firstly, we must acknowledge it. We must be with the feeling of the failure without attaching it to any other story. This would help in recreating your actions with corrective measures and would keep you focused. So, is it easy? No, not really. But let's wait till I cover rest of the 2 points and we will get to know how to do it. So here goes the second aspect, that we must understand the path to success through failures. Experiencing a major failure is considered to be one of the worst things in life. It fills you with negative emotions and leaves you feeling worthless. But despite of negative energy, failure has its positive side. Experiencing failure can teach you lessons that you wouldn't have learned otherwise. Now you may have a question that it may or may not happen also. I mean that I fail and that's it. I don't see anything positive coming out. and then I just get depressed, right? So, how do we agree to it? Let me tell you that the chances of getting to success after any failure is directly proportional to your perseverance and not quitting too soon. But we lose hope pretty soon and change our direction, change our path. I can share a very inspirational episode of my grandfather's life here to keep us all going with the discussion. I hope that you all would be able to relate to it and enjoy it. I feel blessed to be born in that era when there were not much of television or social media. We had only one channel, that was national TV, some particular sets of newspapers and monthly magazines. And having said that, I just realized that I'm talking about pretty old times. Even I am not able to relate to those times today. Now, getting back to the point, life was way so complete even without all the gadgets and abundance of knowledge. We had enough time to sit with our elders, and the whole family would extract knowledge with each other's experience. Evenings would be full of sharing from all, but I can recall only my grandfather's conversations the most. The first time in my life, during my growing years, when I started understanding the failures, that was from his perspective. He would share a lot of his life stories. I call them stories as there used to be several episodes with different learnings. So, there was one episode of his failure which influenced me the most. As the story goes, once he planned to commit suicide after 2-3 failed businesses and huge financial losses to the extent that he was unable to feed a big family of his 8 children. He left home to never come back, leaving his wife and children behind in hands of some high reality. When he was away from his family and was still trying to gather the courage and figuring out the way to end his life, he saw a beggar at a railway platform. He was suffering from a severe skin condition. There was blood and pus coming out of his wounds. He was begging for food and money. People weren't even coming close to him to avoid the infection, but were offering him some coins or breads to help him. Suddenly, there was a huge shift inside my grandfather, and his feeling of failure changed into feeling of guilt for being so self-centered and irresponsible for leaving his family behind. And then it shifted to the sense of responsibility that brought him the courage to fight back. He came running back to his family after seeing the beggar fighting for survival, though he had nothing, like not even a healthy body to fight with. This experience made him realize that failing isn't the end of everything. With every failure, you have openings to many new opportunities. Later, he made it big in his career and became a very successful and rich businessman with a very successful and fulfilling family. Settled all his children in their career and life, and not just his children, his grandchildren as well. So, huge success after several failures, right? As a child, I used to be in awe of his life stories, but I didn't know how much I was getting prepared for the life yet to happen till I faced my own failures. But yes, I understood to not quit so soon. So now we have reached to the third aspect, which is failure broadens your perspective. How? If you are failing, how can you see the other aspect of it? And it's not possible for most of the people also. Yes? Do you agree? But believe me, that by the end of this point, I know that we all would agree to it. I still remember as a child, I only had one image of life, which was a bright picture of success stories. I never could give a serious thought to be successful in life, as it was inevitable if one worked hard enough. I had been an above average child academically, who would always hold some top rank in the class or school or in any competition, and it came very effortlessly to me. So, success in my views was easy. But that was till my early years. Later, it changed completely. How? In case I haven't mentioned, I was the topper in my graduation and throughout first class till my post graduation. And let me tell you, I never had to work hard for those grades. So it was pretty normal for me. Later, I got into PhD after 10 years of completing my masters and having become a mother of two children. Chemistry, which was my subject till masters, became a new subject to me by then. Let me tell you, it wasn't easy. I got through the entrance in my third attempt, completed my mandatory coursework of PhD in 2 years after failing in some or other subject every time. It used to be frustrating to see myself struggling so much for the scores that I used to manage very conveniently till my post graduation. I still remember the day I cleared all my PhD coursework. I had tears in my eyes. My legs were so shaky that I couldn't hold back to stay still and sat on the floor. That day, I was full of gratitude for my scores for the first time in my life. And I learned to be grateful for small achievements. I understood that no achievement is too small to celebrate. My earlier academic achievements could never teach me what I had learned this time from my academic failures, right? So now I think that most of us could relate to it. And if you have gone through the experience of PhD, you would know how slow things could get at times, that you don't see any movement. There was a time during my research work when I continuously failed all my research schemes for 8 months. And let me tell you, when you're constantly failing without a fail, everything else around you suddenly seems to be moving fast. And everyone else around you seems to be excellent at their work. And the same was happening to me. All my research work was going in all the directions, but not what I had really been planning for. And I tell you, this is the irony when you are working on the synthesis of organic compounds in a chemistry lab. At one point of time, when I found my supervisor very irritated with my constant failures, I had just one thing to say to myself, that this would end soon. Because this is the law of nature. Whatever has started has to end for the new happenings to take place. I learned to be more patient, to let things pass. I learned to be more accepting towards whatever was going against my will. And I learned to be more present to whatever was happening in the current moment. So how did I do it? Now here I would like to tell you about the kind of mindset it requires. And once you understand, it's all very simple. We normally get into the drain of feeling worthless once we fail, because we have so much of me in everything we do. And if we fail, we don't see it as a failure of our actions. We always see it as me failing every time. If we can just keep the identity of failure of my actions separate from my own identity, I would rather be excited to change my actions with corrective measures, right? But we are so much attached to our actions that we create a separate identity around those actions. Anything that goes against our expectations or our planning hits us so hard that we aren't able to figure out how to be with it, how to take our time to learn our lessons, and how to take corrective measures and move forward with the new and improved strategy. So, how to keep our identity separate from our actions? By simply practicing mindfulness, in which we understand to not being attached to our actions or anything too much in the first place. And let me tell you that this is one of my favorite tools to handle life, and it works without a fail every time. Here I would like to give you some pointers for being mindful, which would be helpful to use in the situations like failures. So the mindfulness trains you to keep a distance from any situation. That the mindful trains you to keep a distance from any situation created by your actions. Once you have a distance from that situation, you are able to keep yourself outside the situation and see clearly how and what could have gone wrong. Once you know what went wrong, you are now able to figure out another way to correct it, and now simply you can execute it. So simple, right? Now, very quickly, I would like to summarize whatever I have discussed today. So, first thing about the failure aspects of the failure, that the failure can be a great source of motivation, and it's not the end of anything. Once you fail, it broadens your perspective to look at the things differently. It teaches you to embrace the change. And the most important tip, that we must learn to separate our failures from our identity and then move forward. So here we reached to the end of today's session. Thank you so much for being patiently listening to me and for staying till the end. If you are seeking any professional help to live a healthier and a happier life, book a consultation with us. Visit our website www.drpoojaSvetah.com. Follow me on my Instagram handle Dr._Pooja_official. DR_POOJASVETAH_official. So stay tuned. We'll meet next time. Till then, bye bye.